Right, so here is a dashboard that I built for one of my email marketing clients. This is a summary dashboard that shows the performance for the year 2024. So basically what we have here are a series of visuals that show the performance in terms of email marketing campaigns and flows. A lot of the dashboards you see are out there might have a lot of fancy visuals and a lot of functionality, but they don't really convey a clear message and don't give you actionable insights. Whenever I create a dashboard, this is what I focus on the most, giving you just the information you need to make the best decisions for your business. So essentially what we have here is a breakdown of campaign and flow revenue on the overview page, as well as the evolution of profit and average order value over time across the months. So we can see here how the placed order value changed as we progress through the year and how the average order value changed as we progress through the year. You also have the ability on this dashboard to see revenue and orders for the different product categories. This company in particular has four different categories, so we can see them all here by clicking on these buttons and see which category is bringing in the most revenue and which might need a little bit more attention. We also have here a breakdown of performance in terms of deliverability across the different provinces. This being a Canada-focused brand, we can see how the different provinces perform differently in terms of open rates, click-through rates, and conversion rates. This would help the brand identify where to focus more of their attention in terms of geographic locations and which provinces might need a little bit more attention or a change in strategy. Now, moving on, we can have a more targeted view of performance but for emails in terms of campaigns and flows. So if I go to the campaign page, we can see a bunch of different key metrics in terms of deliverability and conversion, as well as a few visuals to show how things changed over time and how things change week to week. So here we have the key metrics in terms of email performance. We have the open rates, the bounce rate, the click-through rate, conversion rate, and the total revenue generated through campaigns. Here again, we have a view of performance across the months. And you can see here, I started working with this brand in particular at the end of February. And since then, their performance skyrocketed. So when I came into this brand, they weren't really doing much in terms of email marketing. I developed an entire strategy for them, developed their campaign calendars, and even worked on their brand's voice to ensure that the messaging was clear and consistent across the entire year. So here we also have something interesting that shows how revenue and open rates change depending on when the message is delivered. So this would help the brand identify when would be the best time during the week to send their emails. So as we can see, if we look at it from the perspective of open rates, the best days were either Mondays or Sundays. Those seem to get the highest open rates. But again, you also have to take into consideration the campaign revenue. Okay, moving on to flows. Again, we have a view of the same sort of metrics. And again, we can see how things changed over time in terms of revenue. Again, after starting to work with this brand, we saw the flow revenue increase dramatically. So again, flows, they only had a few of them set up. When I started working with them, we implemented all of the core flows within the first month. So we started seeing that considerable increase in revenue after that first month of working with them. And then here, when it comes to flows, it's important to see which ones are bringing in the most revenue. And also, we have a view here of deliverability. So most of the flows that we implemented for this brand are getting good deliverability metrics. So we have all of the core flows here, and we also have the ability to hover over these to see which message within that flow is bringing in the most revenue. Again, with this visual in particular, we can see the evolution over time. So again, when I started working with the brand in January and February, you'll see that there weren't too many flows implemented. I'll just play this again. And then in the subsequent months, we're seeing more and more flows as we implemented more for the brand and how the open rates are considerably increasing in deliverability. So this is just a summary dashboard for the year. I've built several different dashboards for this client and all of my email marketing clients that show different sort of metrics that give them different insights into areas of improvement and areas that are currently doing well for their email marketing. Also, I've developed a bunch of different dashboards for ad performance. So that's something else that's really important. Tracking ads, tracking which creatives are bringing in the most revenue, which personas are the best ones to target for the brand.